plaintiffs, Hunter Wilbers and his mom, Allison Wilbers, say the defendant is Allison's sister, and Allison claims she has a history of using violence to resolve conflicts. Allison claims her sister once punched her in the face during an argument, and they're suing her today for a refund on a car. Defendant Jennifer Gallagher says Allison is the violent one who attacked her when she was 6 months pregnant. Jennifer denies owing Allison and Hunter, and she's countersuing for car repairs.
Start with you.
So, Your Honor, first, I'd like to say I'm an educator, and as an educator, I am required to be a mandated child abuse reporter for the state of California. So I don't condone. What level? I don't condone violence.
What school level?
I teach preschool right now, and I'm actually moving on to get my master's degree at UC Merced. Right. So I don't condone violence or conflict. However, my sister and I have had a history of that throughout our lives. For just an example is when she was pregnant with my nephew, she at the time didn't know who the dad was. She didn't have a job. She didn't know who, where she was going to go. She didn't have a car. So I had suggested that perhaps she should put the baby up for adoption. But her response to that was to turn around and punch me in the face. So another time I had loaned her my table and chairs, card table and chairs, and I needed them back for a yard sale. She didn't return them, so I went out to her house to get them and retrieve them. And the next thing you know, I'm getting a phone call from her telling me I was trespassing and that she can't believe that I went out there and got those tables and chairs.
Did you call her first?
Yes, I'd asked for them many times.
No. You told her, I'm on the way.
She wasn't there at the time, but they were outside, sitting outside.
Outside or not. You say, I'm going by to pick them up.
Right.
Otherwise, you were trespassing. I'm with her on that. She jumped on you?
She didn't jump on me at that time, no. It was, but on the phone.
Good.
Or verbally.
She just argued and told you that you were wrong.
Yeah.
And you were. All right. And when do you like to fight her? Do you?
No.
You're a fighter?
No, not at all.
Tell me, answer this allegation that you punched her in the mouth when she suggested that you have your child adopted, or your expecting child.
Okay, so the better explanation of that story is she assaulted me when I told her, unfortunately, I said this, it was not nice. I told her that being in her house and being around her was like being in hell. So she told me, I was 6 months pregnant, Your Honor. I was kicked on the ground, hit on the ground, beat on the face. I actually, the next day, I almost lost my son because of it.
Now, you gotta be kidding, right?
No, I'm not kidding at this at all.
She says she's an educator. She don't condone violence in any manner. This didn't happen, did it, ma'am?
No, it did not at all.
She's making this up.
No, I would never make that.
Huh?
She turned around and punched me in the face. And there was other people there, and they were like, what is going on? I couldn't believe it. And after
You just walked away?
No, I didn't just walk away. It was a big blowout. The whole family.
What'd you do?
Oh, well, after she grabbed my hair, I grabbed her hair.
Oh,
Yeah,
you engaged in violence?
Was it violence?
Violence.
I was trying to defend myself.
No, you didn't have to defend yourself. You could have walked away. Remember, she just punched you.
That was
Punch,
yeah.
walk away. Oh, why you do that, girl?
It was.
I'm not going to fight you because I don't condone violence.
Right.
All right, miss, I don't condone violence. Your first response when she socked you was to grab her on the hair, snatch her down, and kick her like she stole something.
No.
You grabbed her hair.
Basically.
She initially punched me in the face. That was her first
Give me
move.
another example of the violence she has engaged in with you over the years, and then we're going to get to the car you're suing her about. Give me another example.
So there was another time I was at her house. She had asked me to watch her daughter and son, and so I was going to pick them up. It was Easter weekend, and I had mentioned that we were going to be going to someone else's house, and I didn't know if Dylan, her son, was old enough to go. And she was very upset and said I was being judgmental of her and I was discriminating against Dylan, and I always want to do things with her daughter Tori and not Dylan. And then she started screaming in front of all the children. My son was actually there for that. My daughter, her two kids, screaming at me, telling me to get out of her house, cussing. She was going to call the police. All because I was coming to pick her kids up like she had asked.
Get to the violence, though.
That was violence, screaming at me, throwing me out of the house, telling me to.
That wasn't violence.
Okay, pushing me out of her house.
No.
You didn't say
Literally.
that. That's why I asked you.
Okay, well, I didn't.
Now you're telling me she put her hands on you after I had to tell you that
Okay.
that wasn't violence. You're hurting your credibility.
I'm sorry, but that
All
is
right, I'm
considered
just sorry
violence.
too. The things you're telling me are coming
Okay.
off as dishonest. All
Okay.
right. Go ahead. What do you want to tell me about your problems with your sister here
Mm-hmm.
before we can get into the case?
In that particular incident, she had asked me, I had asked her to babysit the children. I was only going to be gone for 3 hours. I just had a small birthday party venue at work. She wanted to take the children out of town. She called a family member and asked them, hey, I can't watch the kids. So I made other arrangements for my children that day. She still showed up. She got the kids all excited about going, and they weren't going. They weren't going to go with her. We did get in an altercation.
Physical.
No, verbal, you know.
All right, now we
Hunter was
see.
there.
You all
Like-
accuse each other of being violent toward each other. That's all I wanted to see. Now let's get to the car. Why are you suing for a refund on a car?
My son handed my sister $500 in cash for a Volkswagen Jetta that she had approached him to purchase. She never gave him the car. She told us that a couple days later that she loaned it to her friend because her friend's brakes went out. So, mind you, he'd already given her the $500 and she went out and loaned the car to her friend. Didn't even hear from her for another 2 weeks. Then finally we called her and said, you know, we're gonna come over now and get the keys. Do you have the car back? Yes, I have the car back. So we went over there, Hunter and myself, and she was very irritable with us. And I asked her what was wrong and she said, you guys. I didn't understand what that meant. So she gave us the title or the bill of sale. Then I said, okay, so can you give Hunter the keys now? And she says, oh, well, I never said 500, I said 600. So I was like, you know, I'm not gonna go through this. So I pulled $100 out of my wallet just so there wouldn't be a fight because I didn't want it to escalate into anything. Here's your other $100. Can you give him the keys? Oh, I don't even have the keys, she says. I said, where? Okay, so where are the keys? Well, they're at Mom's house. So I took the $100 back and I said, when you get the keys, call us and we'll give you the $100. And then we left. And then several minutes later, as we were on our way home, I get a text from her. And it says, nice job. You just lost $500 and the car.
Ma'am, let me hear your side.
So I did agree to give them the car. I was actually selling my car for $1,000 and I was gonna give it to them for $600. There were several people interested in my car. That was what I was gonna let it go for. As a gift, they were family. I wasn't gonna just give them a car, correct. So I told my sister that, and my daughter was going to a birthday party there. I had 2 seconds. I pulled in front of the car, my daughter got out. He ran outside and here's $500, let's go get the car. I was like, Hunter, I'm at work. We have to do this the right way, make an appointment with me. I said, I gave the car to a friend of mine a week ago. The weekend before that, she helped me move, her brakes went out.
Okay, you explained that to them?
Correct.
And what was their response?
Basically, they said, we want the car. You know, we're not waiting for the car. I said, you'll get the car on May 1st.
Go ahead, ma'am.
So once we got the text that says, nice job, you just lost $500 and the car.
That was after you all had departed.
Right,
Let's see it, please.
This was when we
What'd you do after that?
So then we went over to my mom's house because that's where she said the keys were. As we pulled up to my mom's house, she pulled up at the same time. And so I thought she was there to get the keys to give them to us. And so she was parked in the driveway and I walked over to her car. She'd already come in and out really fast. And I was up at her window prepared to give her the $100 and get the keys. However, she wouldn't even roll down her window. She wouldn't look at me. She wouldn't communicate with me. So I walked her to leave because she wasn't responding. Hunter was still trying to talk to her. He was, leaning on her car at the driver's window. I was behind her car and she suddenly puts it in reverse and backs into it and hits me with her car, knocks me to the ground. Hunter fell on top of her car, and for fear of trying to not hit the asphalt, he held on because he had been leaning to trying to talk to her because he's 6'3".
And that caused him to do what?
I was using my hand and my weight to support. I was using the car to support me. All of a sudden, she launched it in reverse and hit my mom, and I just fell
Where were
onto the
you
car.
when you had your hands on her car?
Right there in between the fender, by the hood of the car, and then the driver's door, by the window. Because I was sitting there trying to talk to her to see if I can get
Why
the keys.
do you talk to a person when they're in their driver's seat from the hood?
I wasn't in front of the hood. I was right there by
From
the fender.
the hood. You said your hands were on the hood. Didn't you say
No,
that?
my hands were on the car, not the hood
Yeah,
itself.
what part of the car?
The blind spot, to be exact.
What do you think she's gonna see when you're at the blind spot? You tell me what happened
Yes.
here. You all give the most unreliable testimony I've ever heard. Go ahead, you tell me what happened.
After they left my house, I gave them the money back to the car. They drove off. The money landed on them. They drove off. I said, I did send her that text message. She lost the money. I didn't say I had it because she left it in the street.
Oh my.
Okay, I drove over. She had the title and she had the money. So I drove over to my mom's house to get the car.
Any other evidence you want to give
Yes.
I'd like to say she's lying.
me? I like to say both y'all lying.
No, that's incorrect.
Here is the pictures of the car.
So, what's the rest of your story?
When I went in to get the key, they chased me around the car for fear. I got inside the car. They were yelling, screaming. Hunter was actually on the right side of my car. He wasn't on the driver's side. She was banging on the window trying to get in. She disappeared behind my car. She came back. I decided to put in reverse. In the natural roll, a car just naturally goes into reverse. I reversed back. I put it in drive. Hunter jumped on the hood of my car. He smashed the windshield with his foot and jumped on the hood of the car. While he was doing that, my sister was on this side trying to break the driver's side window.
Okay.
When he...
So this is the damage you've shown me.
Correct.
Where there is a dent in the hood, and it does appear that someone was smashing the windshield.
There's also one with a footprint, Your Honor.
All right, you want to tell me how that happened?
Yes, Your Honor, she hit me with her car as I was on
Got
the
that
hood.
part. Tell me how to...
And then she proceeded to drive and swerve and try to throw me off the hood of her vehicle, and then proceeded to slam on the brakes and hit the gas at least
I would
4
never do
times,
that.
trying to throw me off the car.
Fully accelerated,
All
slammed
right,
on
let's
the
talk
brakes.
about the windshield.
Going at least 30 miles an hour.
Windshield.
And then the last time she stopped, I saw that as my opportunity to get up and run off the car, and I did just that. I got up. I was already on the hood, so I didn't get on the hood. Got up and I stepped 1 foot forward and I jumped off. And
All right, so do you know what happened to the windshield, though?
Yeah, I jumped off of the windshield.
This has clearly been kicked. Judgment for the counterclaimant, $3,485. With
Your
regard to this, you admit on this that you're going to keep the car and the money, but you're not. You're going to give them their money back today. $500 is your judgment. Have a good day.
That's what I'm talking about. I'd like to have her back as my aunt again, but I mean, it's up to her. If she wants to be out of our lives, that's fine. I'm not gonna ask her to stay.
Well, there's a history of conflict, but my niece and nephew and my daughter and son are the ones suffering because that's their cousins.
Yeah, I'd like to see my cousins.
She'll have a relationship with my kids, not with me.